Episode 1 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Season 3, begins with a Kikuchi, a member of the cleaning crew, finding Tanjiro's squad after the battle with Jutaro. At that moment, the sickly Kagaya Ubuyashiki says it's an omen since it is the first time in over 100 years that an upper-rank demon was killed. This change will help them kill Muzan, who is a blemish on his family. It then cuts to Akaza finding himself in the Infinity Castle, and realizes that the summoning means that one of the upper-rank demons has been killed by the Demon Slayers. He jumps off the edge of the room and descends to the lower regions of the alternate dimension, passing a grand palace before landing at the bottom. As the castle shifts, a platform catches Akaza and takes him high above the moving rooms. The demon is transported through a maze-like room filled with pillars, and the sound of a biwa leads him to a platform in front of the biwa woman who controls the castle. Upon reaching there, he encounters the Jin-like demon Gyako, upper rank 5, and the skittish demon Hantengu, upper rank 4. Akaza is uninterested in Gyako's talk and asks about the whereabouts of Muzan and upper rank 1. The cheerful demon Doma, upper rank 2, arrives and touches Akaza on the shoulder in a friendly familiar way, causing him to demand that he move away. Akaza repeats the order and punches off Doma's jaw. Doma heals his jaw and cheekily comments on the punch's increased power, further angering Akaza. Neikaim, the Biwa demon, reveals that Kokashibo, upper rank 1, has been listening to them all along. Muzan arrives and informs the upper ranks of Jutaro's death and their incomplete numbers while performing private experiments. Muzan criticizes Daki as a hindrance and belittles the upper ranks, claiming they now fall under the ranks of humanity instead of demonic power. When Muzan expresses his disappointment in the upper ranks for their failure to locate the blue spider lily and kill the Ubuyashiki family, Doma questions whether he has ever let him down. Muzan responds by smashing his equipment and declaring their existence pointless. While the other demons react with fear and apologies, Gyako offers information, only to be decapitated by Muzan mid-sentence. Muzan then expresses his hatred for change and demands that Gyako never give him unconfirmed information. Muzan urges the upper ranks to fight harder, and demands Gyako and Hantengu go to the desired location once Gyako confirms the information. Gyako becomes annoyed at Hantengu's company, while Doma questions Gyako about the mission. However, Akaza intervenes and attacks Doma for joining without Muzan's orders. In a sudden turn of events, Akaza's hand falls off, and Kokashibo appears right in front of him, his intimidating aura leaving Akaza speechless. Doma quickly heals and attempts to appease Kokashibo's anger, telling him he doesn't mind the attack. However, the upper one explains that he's not acting out of personal grudges but rather to maintain the hierarchy and authority. Kokashibo challenges Akaza to a battle if he's still upset, but Doma dismisses the idea, stating that Akaza could never defeat them both. He notes that Akaza is only upset because Doma surpassed him in rank despite being younger, further irritating Akaza. Kokashibo addresses Akaza once again and questions if he comprehended his words. Furious, Akaza acknowledges his words and threatens to kill him. Kokashibo departs, encouraging him before disappearing. The scene then shifts to a demon slayer wearing Hanafuda earrings seated on a porch, and someone brings him tea for which he thanks them. The demon slayer says he will be leaving soon since he feels it is impolite to eat free food, but his host insists that he saved their lives and helped his child be born. Sumiyoshi, the host, then asks for the guest's name, but he declines to provide it, despite not having an heir to pass it down to. The demon slayer turns to Sumiyoshi and states that those who master their skills will ultimately face the same fate, regardless of the path they take or the era they live in. He rejects Sumiyoshi's belief that he is exceptional, saying he cannot protect anything he values and that he has achieved nothing in his life. He declares that his name is as worthless as he is. Sumiyoshi urges him not to hate himself and deny his words, but as he does so his voice fades into Tanjiro's, and he wakes up in tears realizing that he had been dreaming. Upon awakening, Tanjiro is disoriented and confused about his whereabouts. Kaneo Tsuyuri, who had entered the room, rushes over to him and informs him that he has been unconscious for 2 months since the battle. Overwhelmed with relief, Kaneo sheds tears of joy and expresses her happiness that he has finally woken up. Goto, an acquaintance of Tanjiro and a member of the Kikuchi scene at the start of the episode, recalls finding him and his friends in a comatose state in the ruins of Yoshiwara. Arriving in Tanjiro's room as he woke up, he then calls out to Kyo Tarachi, Sumi Nakahara, Naho Takada, and Aoi Kanzaki. Kiyo, Sumi, and Naho express their joy that Tanjiro has awoken, while Aoi tearfully expresses her gratitude that he is alive, as he had taken her place in the mission. Tanjiro asks about the whereabouts of his friends, and Goto explains that Zenitsu had recovered 2 days ago, and they had witnessed Tengen leaving the district with his wives while heavily wounded. Sumi mentions that Inosuke was close to death, and Aoi explains that the poison had severely affected him. Upon hearing this news, Tanjiro hallucinates that Inosuke is above them, causing everyone to look up at the ceiling. Inosuke appears from the ceiling panels, shocking everyone with his unexpected presence. He lands on the bed and jokingly berates him for making them all worry, while Naho notes that he is the abnormal one, as even Shinobu had been concerned about Tanjiro's state. After a week of rehabilitation, Tanjiro is eager to obtain a new sword. A Kikuchi guides him to the secretive swordsmith village, where everyone wears masks to conceal their identity. Along the way, he is blindfolded and designated different Kikuchi to keep the village's location hidden. Upon arriving, he thanks the village chief, and his cry of gratitude is heard by Mitsuri Kanroji, the love Hashira, who becomes excited. However, when Tanjiro asks about his new sword, he is informed that Haganazuka is angry and refuses to make him one, and it is currently missing. After getting to the swordsmith village, Tanjiro meets the chief, Tekenteki Kawahara, who blames the smith for making weak blades, and advises Tanjiro to visit the hot springs to recover from his injuries. Tanjiro hears a loud voice calling to him and meets the love Hashira, Mitsuri Kanroji, who is upset that someone at the hot springs didn't respond when she said hello. Tanjiro cheers her up by mentioning dinner. Later, at the hot springs, Tanjiro sees Genya Shinazugawa, who denies knowing him. Tanjiro introduces himself and asks about Genya's relation to the wind Hashira, but Genya slams Tanjiro's face into the water and leaves. Later, Tanjiro tells Mitsuri that the person she met at the hot springs was Genya, the brother of Sanemi Shinazugawa, another Hashira, which surprises her as Sanemi never mentioned having a sibling. Both Tanjiro and Mitsuri become upset at the thought of them being on bad terms since they both value their siblings. They decide to make rice balls for Genya but soon discover that he's not in his room. As they walk, Tanjiro asks Mitsuri why she joined the Demon Slayer Corps, to which she becomes flustered and explains that she joined to find someone strong enough to protect her and marry. She became a Hashira because she couldn't just introduce herself to one. Tanjiro is left speechless by her explanation. Mitsuri soon informs them that she will be leaving the village, which leaves Tanjiro and Nezuko dismayed. To cheer them up, she commends Tanjiro for battling an upper rank, and mentions that he can look for a secret legendary special weapon hidden in the village to get stronger. The next day, after having breakfast, Tanjiro and Nezuko set out to find the hidden weapon. While walking, Tanjiro hears 2 voices arguing in the distance, one of them being a young swordsmith who wants to protect something, and the other being a demon slayer demanding that he use it. As he approaches them, he sees that the swordsman is the mist Hashira, Michiro Takedo, but he also sees someone familiar with them close to the trees. He walks closer and is shocked to see the same man from his dream. As the episode ends,